Welcome to another edition of Computer Train. It's going to be a fun show today, and it's going to be a really special one for me because I want to introduce the audience to a new girl in my life. So hop aboard Computer Train and find out who that is.
It's time for Computer Train, the weekly TV program that trains you how to use your computer. With your host, El Paso Community College faculty member Russ Myers.
As I alluded to, we're going to introduce you to a new girl in my life. In the past couple episodes of Computer Train, we've been talking about Windows 10, and Windows 10 has come with a new personal assistant, essentially a search facility, but much more than that. And I wanted to make sure we fully understand how it works and how it can help you as a computer user. So as we've discussed in Windows 10, this personal assistant is called Cortana. And this is Microsoft's search engine, kind of the equivalent to Siri on the Apple devices. One of the things I was doing was, first of all, just kind of experimenting and trying to figure out where her name came from, and then doing a little bit of research. So here's a picture. This picture is what you would see in Microsoft Windows Halo game. And that's also where there's a character in that game called Cortana. But it actually comes a little bit farther than that. Here's how we're going to see it in Windows 10, and we've already used it a little bit in the past couple episodes, and I just wanted to show a couple more things that Cortana can do for us. One thing I was doing some research, just a little bit of a side, is I found out, more or less, it's hard to determine with Microsoft sometimes, that Cortana actually came from this sword, Cortana, and it was a ceremonial sword used in the coronation of British kings and queens. I'm surprised I didn't know that. My mom was born in England, so I know a little bit about British history. All right, so that's where they got the name, and I wanted to show you some of the things that it can do for us. So let's take a look around at Cortana. First of all, Cortana is going to appear on your taskbar, okay, down here at the bottom. Okay, so we've been using it in the past. It's basically a little search. And some of the things that I had shown you in the previous show is, you know, we have all of these applications on our computer. How can we find them quickly? So in different operating systems, I've shown you how to find things quickly. And one of the things I did in the previous show is you can just type the name of the application, and it will show you applications installed on your computer with that name. It'll also show you some things that it found on the internet. So it's essentially doing a dual search for you at the same time. So that's one of the fastest ways to find things. But you can tell it to do all sorts of things, and you can have a little bit of fun with Cortana. So I've seen something like, if I tell her, tell us a joke.
What did the fisherman say to the magician? Pick a card, any card.
So she has a sense of humor. That's actually pretty funny. That did make me laugh. All right, we can do some other search things. Again, instead of going to the internet and typing into a search engine, I've kind of done this example in the past with search engines. Who has won the most Super Bowls? Obviously, relatively easy question. We know that the Pittsburgh Steelers have won the most Super Bowls. All right, so let's dig a little bit further here. One of the things that I wanted to show you is here I have the Steelers schedule. So I'm going to do kind of a side example for you, kind of a tip and trick, and kind of build it with Cortana also. See, here I have a Steelers schedule from last year. And one of the things that I showed you in a previous episode was the great thing about Microsoft Excel, where anything that's in a table structure, we can download and put it in Excel because it works with columns and rows very easily. All right, the other thing I wanted to show you is now built into, remember, this is not called Internet Explorer anymore on Windows 10. It's called Microsoft Edge, that you can have Cortana turned on within your browser and use Cortana within the browser. So for instance, I've selected the name Pittsburgh Steelers right here. And I'm going to use my mouse and right-click on it. And you can see built into the menu, I can do a quick search on those words, but using Cortana. Okay, so what it's going to do obviously is give me a lot of websites and information related to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, so you can have Cortana turned on within Microsoft Edge. I just want to make sure you know how to do that. So we're going to go to the settings. So let's go ahead and take a zoom in here. We're going to go to these three dots, which is the settings button inside Microsoft Edge. All right, so within the settings menu, we're going to come down here to the bottom to another settings option, which is going to allow us to get to other settings, which is the one that we want to look at. All right, then I'm going to scroll down on that one. And we're going to look down here, View Advanced Settings. And the Cortana option to turn that on is inside there. If we scroll down here, that's what we want to make sure we have. So if you have Windows 10, then you're going to have Microsoft Edge. Of course, you're going to have Cortana, but it has to be turned on to assist you in Microsoft Edge. So very simple. It says, have Cortana assist me in Microsoft Edge. If you don't want that option, you can turn it off. If you do, which I usually do, I have it turned on. And it'll help you in lots of different places, not just a quick search with the pop-up menus. All right, so now let's quickly go to my example. And in my example, one of the things when we get stuff off the internet a lot of times is it's going to come with a lot of graphics. Okay? And when I put, for instance, this brief example, when I put the schedule in Microsoft Excel and I want to print it out, and I usually put it on my refrigerator somewhere where I can see what game is coming up every week. When I print it, I don't want to print all those graphics. So I'm going to show you how to select multiple graphics in Microsoft Excel quickly so you don't have to click and delete, click and delete. And the second thing is we're going to use Cortana to actually run Microsoft Excel. So instead of me going to menus or finding it, I'll just tell her to run it. Okay, so I'm going to click on the microphone here. Start Excel.
All right, here's Excel 2016.
Okay, so that's a pretty cool feature. I don't go to the menus or anything. I just have Cortana start Excel. All right, so we're just going to sidetrack away from Cortana just briefly to show you this one example. All right, so to get the schedule, we know that that is a standard copy and paste. So I'm going to select all this and copy it. And then come over here to Excel and paste it. So I've pasted that information from the internet, and in this example it's where I want the text, but I don't want all the graphics that came with it. So what we can do is we can use a find and replace, which I've talked about in previous episodes of Computer Train. Most people, when they think of the find dialog box, they think of finding text. You find text a certain way that it's typed and you replace it. That option is available in Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, lots of text-based programs. But in each of the programs, you can also search for other things. So essentially what I want to do is I want to select all these objects and delete them at one time so that I don't have to select and delete, select and delete. All right, so we're going to go to that same menu. So on our home ribbon, we're going to come up here to the Find and Select. And in this particular menu, the one that I'm going to use right now is the one called Go to Special. Okay? Whenever you see that special, something like that in text-based, it usually means to go to other things besides text. So we're going to click on that. And you can see lots of different things that we have available to us. And one of them is to select objects. Okay, so remember objects, basically non-text items like graphs or charts that are in there, pictures, text boxes. You can basically think of it as non-text. Okay, so we'll click on Select Objects and then click OK. And you can see what that's nice about is it's automatically selected all of my graphic objects. So now I only have to press the delete key one time and all my graphics are gone, instead of doing a select, delete, and something like that. All right, let's get back to Cortana. All right, one of the things once in a while that I like to do, I like to cook once in a while, so let's see if Cortana can help me find a recipe. Recipe for chicken enchiladas. Nice, I was worried that maybe my accent wasn't going to work. So now we have lots and lots of different recipes. I happen to like chicken enchiladas a lot. So we find one and we click on it. All right, a lot of times when I'm doing a particular recipe, especially when you have so many people in the kitchen not putting things back exactly where that I like them. So I'm looking for a teaspoon or a tablespoon or measuring, and I can't find it. So usually I'll have my Microsoft Surface on the counter, and I'll use Cortana to help me do different things. So I could ask, maybe this recipe calls for a tablespoon. I can't find my tablespoon, but I have my teaspoon. So I can ask her how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon. How many teaspoons in a tablespoon?
Here is what I found.
Nice. All right, so she found that about 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon, and I can use that instead. And again, the benefit here is we've always been able to do this. This is just searching on the internet, and you could always find that information for a decade now. What's nice about it is I don't have to go open the web browser. I don't have to, go to Google or Bing or do searching like that. All I have to do is click in there, ask her a question, and then I usually can get the information pretty quickly, which is really helpful as I'm doing kinds of different things. All right, another example that we can do here is if you look inside Cortana, we're going to look at a couple of these different things. So here is the home for Cortana, which gives you some basic information, usually has my calendar here. She'll sometimes have the weather, and you can set these options. Then I can go to my notebook, and we're going to do an example of that, where you can do one click on lots of different things that I might introduce: sports, leisure, news, politics. But you can also modify it to your unique interests. There are reminders, so you can set a reminder here, and that's the next example I'm going to do. All right, so in this reminder app, one of the things that I like about it is I could be at my office and I can get Cortana to set a reminder for me. Then I don't have to be on a computer to see my reminder. I have downloaded the Cortana app on my cell phone. You do not need to have a specific Microsoft Windows phone. I have a Samsung and it works just fine. All you do is download the app, so I can have it on my smartphone just like I have here. Whatever I set here, and that goes for reminders and calendar, I'll be able to see on my phone anywhere that I am. So it really works out nicely for me. You can set all kinds of reminders. You can set things for your calendar, meetings, and you'll see them in both places, which is really nice. All right, so usually on trash day, we all have to remember to take out the trash bins. I'm not going to remind myself to take out the trash bin. I have children for that. I'm going to remind myself to remind my children to take out the trash bins. So let's set a reminder. Set a reminder at 6 p.m.
All right, what do you want to remember?
Have children take out trash bins.
Sure, remind you to have children take out trash bins at 6 p.m. today. Sound good?
Yes.
Great.
All right, so now that's a reminder that I've set on my computer, maybe in my office. And then if I come to my cell phone and I look at my reminders on Cortana here, I'll see the same reminder. Okay, so take out trash bins, remind my children. So it really, really works out nicely. Whatever I do in one place, I can see in the other place. We're trying to get to that one device. So essentially, you're connected at all times through your smartphone, but a lot of things that we do on that. All right, then I can take a look at my entire calendar, and I'll see some of the things that I've put on there, and I'll also see the reminders. Open Calendar app.
Sure thing. Opening calendar.
Okay, so here's the calendar. Here are the couple of things that I just saw. We have computer train going on today. And then tonight, here's my reminder where I'm going to have my children take the trash bins out so they can get picked up. One of the nice things is, remember, Microsoft is associated with their email program, which is Microsoft Outlook. But I've also incorporated in the calendar app, you can also add other accounts. So you can add your Gmail, your Yahoo. I have my Gmail account connected. Okay, so you can also turn those on and off. My Outlook is basically my work calendar, and my Gmail is my other calendar for my personal things. Okay, but you can see you can turn those kinds of things off. Wanted to quickly just show you the menu. I'm not going to add a full account, but I want to show you where to go to add an account. So here in my calendar, remember the sprocket is the standard symbol for settings. So I'm going to click on that sprockets icon. Okay, and then here in the menu on the right, I'm going to go to Manage My Accounts. And you'll see that I have my 2 there. Okay, so here's my Outlook account for my college. And then here's my Gmail account. So if you have to add another one, you just add account. You've got to put in your username and passwords because they check to make sure it's a valid account. And then that will be added and you can have those also. One of the nice things I also like about the calendar app is that it has the email program built into it. So not only can I see my calendar for Gmail, but I can also see my mail account. So I can quickly switch to that and use this as my email program. Okay, remember, once again, what's the nice thing about all this is I don't have to go to, 9, 10 different places and open this and open the search box and click on this and Liz. It's kind of all incorporated, and that's one of the themes that I've been discussing in the last couple of episodes about Windows 10. It's kind of one place, really handy to get to everything that you need. All right, the other thing we were discussing with Cortana is this notebook, which is kind of handy. Okay, so we can get to one click lots of different pieces of information that most of us would search on, politics or sports, current headlines. You can see there's finance, things like that. So here's the sports, and in each of those they usually have a way where you can personalize it. Okay, so I've gone to the sports, and if you can see in the sports, I can add a team right here. And what that will do is during, the sports season, if I add the Pittsburgh Steelers, that as things for the Pittsburgh Steelers come up, Cortana will bring that information up to me, such as they have a game this Sunday, or I think it's even, I haven't tested it because the season was over, but I think it'll also, if they score, it'll give you scoring. So we can say add a team. And so under the sports, I'm giving it a specific sports thing that I'm interested in. Okay, so we'll add the Pittsburgh Steelers there. Okay, so you can see it will do that. It'll show updates for your teams, notify me when someone scores, and show upcoming games and matches. Okay, once again, I can see that on my phone also as I set it here. So that's pretty cool, I thought, as things come up. All right, another thing it does here is we can have reminders that you do manually. So this one is the reminders. And these are the same icons that you will see on your phone. Okay, so if you want to set a reminder on your phone, you run Cortana on your phone. It'll have those same 4 icons where you can modify the way it does the searching, the home, things that it'll set for you. Okay, last one is to provide feedback on how it works. And basically what Microsoft is trying to get across here with this personal assistant is as you click on things and as you do things on your computer, just like a real personal assistant, it starts to learn your habits and it starts to try to anticipate what you'll need. So for instance, if the first thing you did every day was check your calendar, then Cortana starts to learn that and will come up with things. All right, let's wrap things up with a couple of last-minute tidbits that will help you. One of the things that it's actually started, I think, in Windows 8, were different ways to log in. We've discussed lots of shows about these passwords that everybody has to remember. So I want to show you in Windows 10 that you can use different methods for sign-in. I can't follow through with the example because here at the college I'm under administrative guidelines where I can't do some of this stuff, but on your own computer you definitely can. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Start button, and then here we're going to go to Settings. Don't forget, there's that icon again, kind of the cog or the wheel. And then in this one, there is an icon related to your accounts. Okay, so I'm going to go to my accounts. And one of the things we have in that is sign-in options. So instead of doing the full username password business, you have a couple of different options that you can use here. Okay. So here it is. This would be a PIN number, much like you do when you go to an ATM. You can just give it, 4 characters and set it that way. You can also add a picture password. So if you have a touchscreen like I've demonstrated with my Surface in the past, you can actually have a picture on the desktop, and by what you press with your fingers and what your motion does with the finger, that will log you in. And I think the next step that they're looking for is face recognition. So you're just going to look at your computer through the camera, and the camera is going to recognize you, and you're going to log in that system. All right, so for instance, again, I can't go all the way through, but I can show you. I would add using a photo. You have to give it your regular password to do this. So we'll log in here. And then over here on the left, you can choose any picture you want. So it could be a picture of your children, a car, scenery, whatever you have. So I'm going to use the Steelers logo. And then this is where it's not going to allow me any further, but at this point it would have the picture, and then either using your mouse or your finger on the touch screen, you tell it what the system is that you're going to use, and that would log you into the system. All right, another thing we've discussed many times in the past, and I'm going to take a brief look today, and then some future shows maybe do a little bit more. I'm going to show you a little bit about File Explorer and a cool new feature that is in Microsoft Office 2016, which may put me out of a job. First of all, let's start File Explorer. I'll get Cortana to do that. Start File Explorer.
Sure. Starting File Explorer.
Remember that File Explorer is our file management software. We've done many shows, many different items on this. Just wanted to show you some differences here. In the previous version of File Explorer, this was called Favorites. Okay, and the way you use Favorites is if there's a particular location that you go to every time you log in, instead of following that path structure that we discussed, where I have to go to the drive, then I go to a subfolder and a subfolder and a subfolder till I eventually get to some folder or file I'm looking for, you can copy that and put it into your quick access, and it's very simple to do. You're just going to navigate. So let's say here at the college, in this, I'm always going to go to the computer train folder. It has all the files I've been using. Okay, so in the computer train folder right here, I right-clicked and I get a pop-up menu. And then I'm going to say Pin to Quick Access. In previous versions, you could also do this, and it was called Pin to Favorites. Okay, so now don't forget that this is a shortcut. It's not the actual folder. My flash drive still needs to be connected to the machine in order for this to work. But now, if I come here and I need to go to this computer train folder, I don't have to navigate to my flash drive and go through all this folder structure. All I need to do is click on that icon, and it sets a shortcut, and I go straight to that folder. I use it quite extensively, actually. All right, the other thing that is nice when we run File Explorer is you get to recent files that you've used. Okay, so in the main menu here are files that I've used on my system recently. And almost always, because especially here at the college, I'm using the same files, and overall, I always go to my grades file at my office. I always go to, syllabi or something like that frequently. So this is a great place to find them quickly without having to look all over the place. Don't forget, I've also discussed that Cortana will look for files. I don't use Cortana for file searching because most of the time I'm going to narrow down the searching, so I'm still going to use that same search window we've discussed in the past. That's where you need to know a little bit about the file name, the extension, but ultimately you can use Cortana to search for things. All right, final example before we leave is a new version of Microsoft Office I've had installed, and I'm going to try to do a show or two on those. So I'm going to run Microsoft Word here. And it all relates to help. In previous episodes, I've shown you a lot about help, how to get help within the facility or the application, how to get help on the internet for different activities you're going to do. In Office 2016, they have a Tell Me What You Want to Do. And so this is kind of the thing I was going to say, oh my God, this might replace me as a useful computer user. Lots of people ask me questions and I show them how to do things. Now you can just type in what you want to do. You still have to learn some vocabulary. Let's say that I was trying to save this Microsoft Word file in a different file format. Okay, you know how the way to do it is you go to the File ribbon, you go to Save As. Watch what happens here. Instead of just telling me and giving me a description of how to do it, it actually gives you the command options in the menu. Okay, so I'm going to click in here, and I'm going to say save a file as a different format. Look at this. Not only is it telling you, but it actually is showing you the icon you can use. Instead of telling you where to find it and go in the menu and do all this searching, the button you actually need to do that is right there. And it brings it right up. Okay, 15,000 commands more or less, and a lot of these more advanced programs, it is difficult to remember where they are and how they're structured. Now in Office 2016, we can go straight there. So next couple episodes, we're going to explore 2016. Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of Computer Train. We checked out Cortana, and I can't be selfish. It's not just my personal assistant, but it can be your personal assistant. Does a lot more than what I showed you. I just showed you a couple things, so check it out. I also wanted to remind you that we are on Facebook and YouTube, so give us a search and check us out there. And I hope you join us again on another episode of Computer Train.